Joseph McCray, and I want to talk to you today about marijuana. So I'm a nurse in the field of substance use treatment, and last week I was talking about cocaine, and someone said, hey, talk about marijuana. So why not? So marijuana is a hallucinogen, it is a stimulant, and it's also a depressant. Okay, it's all three of those in one. Okay, and so people smoke it, they get a high, they get a good feeling about it. And so I just want to kind of talk about what are my thoughts about marijuana. What are my thoughts? And so you won't believe this, but I now feel like marijuana should just be recreational use. Okay, it should be approved for recreational use. You say, well, what do you mean? You know how you see all those liquor stores on the various corners throughout the city, all out in the county? That's recreational use of alcohol. Okay, that's just going in and getting a drink just for the fun of it. And so, why do I say that about marijuana? Well, all the research and studies say that marijuana should never be given to teenagers, to young people, the young developing brain, okay? So both sides, for people who agree with marijuana, people who disagree with marijuana, they both say that young teenagers should never use marijuana because it interferes with their development, it interferes with their brain growth, okay? That's like a pretty strong argument. And so because we don't want teenagers to use it, we don't want them to be affected when they are getting ready to become an adult, which is kind of contradictory because we turn around and say it's okay for adults to do it, okay? So if it ain't good for a teenage brain, why is it so okay for the adult brain? And so what I've come to learn is I know we use it for some medical purposes. We use it for pain, it helps with nausea, it helps with glaucoma. I mean, it has some benefits to it, but all in all, it is a dirty drug, okay? It's mixed with so many different substances, and we try to extract the parts that make people high from the parts that give them the health benefits. We try to do that and clean it up some. But for the most part, people are going to get a drug effect, okay? Even though they're taking it for pain, they're taking it for nausea, they're going to get a high, they're going to get a psychoactive effect, okay, to their brain. And so because there's just so much debate, so much arguments about it, is it good, is it bad? I sort of side with a doctor that I talked to one day, Dr. Pytel, and he and I both just said, it should just be recreational. It should be just like you go in a liquor store and you get alcohol. See, alcohol is no good to the body, but every day, throughout the day, actually tomorrow when we're getting ready for the Super Bowl, it's going to be tons of alcohol, okay? And they're not using it for any medical purpose at all. They're just totally recreational. It's just fun, just gives you a lift. It's going to be for all those purposes, okay? And so I just feel like, hey, you know what? Why can't marijuana be right next to you, okay? Because some say, well, okay, it messes up your gait. It causes accidents. The truth of the matter is when they draw the blood of people who've been in an accident, they have so many substances in their blood in addition to marijuana. It's hard to say what caused them to lose their ability to like focus and drive correctly. And so you can't always blame it on marijuana. The other piece to it is that we got some states who approved it for medical purposes, like our own state of Maryland. We got some that approved it for recreational. So my whole thought is, hey, if you make it all recreational, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get people with, their eyes are going to be red. They're going to be a little loopy. Maybe the gait is going to be off. They may talk a little funny. They're going to probably get the munchies. Are you going to have like really major health problems from the use of marijuana? no way in comparison to alcohol. No comparison to what alcohol does to the body versus what marijuana does to the body. Okay, now I'm a nurse who deals with people with addiction. Very seldom do I even see people come into treatment with a marijuana use disorder who are coming in because their life has been unmanageable under the influence of marijuana. And so I've sort of just taken that stand that, hey, you know what, it should be available right next to the liquor store. Okay, about 43 million people in our country of about 310 million people smoke marijuana. Okay, and it's been the number one illicit substance for decades that people have been doing. Okay, and so I don't know if we will ever get there as a country, but I will not be surprised. You can play this video back decades later or several years later, and it'll be said that I always thought it should be recreational anyway. Okay, and so I've been to conferences and I've seen one side argue against it, one side argue for it, and they both are very strong arguments. Okay, very strong arguments. But I just think it's a drug that, yes, it's going to affect the brain. Yes, it's going to affect young people as they're trying to develop. Somebody said, do you remember the Jamaican cornet pen relays? Definitely not more potent than alcohol. So I don't know about that. I think alcohol is way, way more important than marijuana. And it probably seemed like that back at pen relays, Rick. But yeah. I mean, we don't want young people to smoke cigarettes. We don't want young people to drink. Alcohol and cigarettes are your gateway drugs. Marijuana becomes your third gateway drug. So when young people get introduced to cigarettes, that's a stimulant. So they get used to dopamine being released, a good feeling. When they start drinking, they release all kind of chemicals. Okay, they release dopamine. They release glutamate that sort of gives them that relaxed feeling, that they can say what they want to say, do what they want to do. All those things happen as a result of just drinking alcohol. Okay, those are your two big gateway drugs. And some will say, well, if you start smoking marijuana, you're going to get into heroin and cocaine, all those kind of things. You can just start smoking cigarettes and drinking and do those things. What's up, big brother Ricky? So I just wanted to take a little time out to give you my thoughts on it. I know people use it for medical reasons, but let's just forget all the argument about, oh, I need it for my pain, I need it for my leg. And here's another reality. When the people go and get their medical marijuana, it is so much marijuana that they get at one time that they can't even use it all. You hear stories all the time about people selling the rest of the marijuana that they got for medical purposes, okay? I mean, they go to their dispensary, get their marijuana. I mean, it's a nice little chunk of marijuana. They can't smoke it all. They're giving it to their friends, selling it, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just all crazy. It's the same kind of battle we had with alcohol, folks. The same battle we had with alcohol was that we didn't want alcohol. We said, no, we're prohibiting it. And so we did that in the 20s. Then all of a sudden, our country starts saying, we had all these gang fights with Al Capone. And then we had the Great Depression. We had no money in the United States. And so folks got together and said, let's think about legalizing alcohol. So 1933, we legalized alcohol. We said, hey, plus we found out that people really wanted the alcohol in the first place. I mean, they were saying prohibit it, but some folks really wanted to drink, okay? And we was going to get alcohol here from other countries. It was just going to get in America. So America just figured out, okay, we'll just legalize alcohol. We won't okay really strong alcohol. We'll just okay, light drinks like beers and things like that. That'll be approved. But folks, if you drink enough beers, they become a heavy drink, okay? If you drink 4 beers, If it was 12% alcohol, now it's 48%. Okay, I mean, just do the math. Just simple and plain. So, I mean, that's what we're coming down to. That's what we're coming down to. And so, I mean, I don't believe people should be able to go to work on marijuana because clearly you probably will not think well, you won't function too good on it. Just like you can't go to your job on a drink, okay? They find out you've been drinking at work, you're going to be in trouble for that. So those are just my thoughts. Just as a nurse in addiction, you might be saying, what? He's saying it's okay to use it recreational? Yeah, I really am saying that. I mean, we're never going to get rid of liquor stores, never going to get rid of bars. We're going to get totally excited tomorrow watching all the beer commercials. And I mean, just about half our country drinks. 17 million of them have an alcohol use disorder, okay, who find their lives unmanageable, can't really do well with working and maintaining relationships and all that. 17 million people, okay? And another statistic, 88,000 people die from alcohol problems, be it accidents, cirrhosis, pancreatitis, every year. Okay, we don't even make mention of that kind of stuff. I mean, alcohol has been such a problem for so long. We only talk about, I mean, people go to college and that's the greatest place of use, okay? I mean, folks get in college, they just go buck crazy, okay? They try to outdrink each other, get into alcohol poisoning, okay? Where they get huge levels of alcohol in their brain, okay? 0.01, that's an average drink. You drink one beer, it'll take your alcohol level up to 0.01. And so you imagine if people have alcohol levels at 0.30 or 0.40, that's like 30 cent, 40 cent worth of alcohol versus 0.01, 1 cent worth of alcohol, okay? Now the brain is starting to shut down. They are starting to become totally relaxed. Then they vomit, their gag reflex don't work, they choke on their vomit. All these problems with just alcohol, okay? You will never get all these problems with marijuana, okay? I'm not asking anybody to get me out there to be a spokesperson for marijuana because I won't do it. But I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying to you, okay? You're gonna have the effect that you know, while you're under the influence, you're gonna be looking silly, acting silly, all that kind of stuff that marijuana does. But my question today is it worse than alcohol? No, it's not. And we made alcohol recreational, and we did it because we financially need the money in this country. Okay, we got right out of that Great Depression once we was able to sell alcohol. We got out of the Great Depression, okay? And so that's what I'm saying. Will I go out and smoke marijuana? No, because I don't want anything affecting my brain. I don't want to be out of my mind, not clear to what I'm doing. That's what drugs do, okay? They take you out of your mind. You lose sight of who you are. Don't tell them what kind of trip you might have. We don't want young people to do it because we want their brains to be mature and ready to be an adult, to be responsible, okay? To take care of themselves, maybe even to make a difference in the world. And so because we don't want young people, we don't want them to smoke, we don't want them to drink, we don't want them to smoke marijuana, we don't want young people to do anything. Young people become adults. And so we want you to do it as a young person, we don't want you to do it as an adult either. But when you're an adult, you make your own decisions, you choose the path you want to live, and so can't nobody stop you. But for teenagers, we definitely don't want them to be impacted. I mean, I was a track runner. I couldn't even fathom using drugs or anything because I wanted to be the best when I got out there on that track, okay? I didn't want to be out of my mind, slowed with my thinking, slowed with my processing. I wanted to be totally alert, totally able to run with all diligence and strength and everything. And so, I mean, I just don't think any young person should do it. If you get adults who come to a decision that they want to drink, they want to smoke, they want to use marijuana, they're an adult. They're grown. They make decisions, okay? they have to live with those decisions. But that's where we are, and so that's really my take. That's really my thoughts about it. I'm really strong on opioids. I'm really strong on cocaine. I'm really strong on alcohol, and I'm really strong on tobacco. Those drugs have clear health challenges and changes to individuals. Okay, smoking, shortness of breath, lung problems, heart problems, hardening of the arteries. Opioids stopping you from breathing. Cocaine, I told you last week, affecting your heart and your smaller blood vessels, having strokes, things like that. Alcohol affecting your liver, your pancreas. Alcohol is one of those substances, as soon as it touches your tongue, throughout your whole body, can be at risk for cancers. Just problem after problem with alcohol, okay? And so that's why I'm really hard on those. I mean, my whole thing about marijuana just takes that young person's brain and slows down that development, slows down that processing, slows down that ability to really get them ready for the world, okay? I mean, with so much that's coming at a young person, why would you want anything to interfere, okay? Why would you want anything to slow down your processing, slow down your ability to make decisions, judgments, okay? And that's what marijuana will do, okay? I mean, they've done research. They did like a 38-year research and looked at people who smoke marijuana, and they checked them 38 years later. They found that their IQ levels were lower, okay, from the people who didn't smoke marijuana. So it makes you a little dumber, okay? You're not as bright as a result of it. And so, I mean, that's a strong study that was done. And so going back to my first argument, should it be just all recreational? Yeah, just make it all recreational. Just make it right next to the liquor store, okay? I mean, we're just gonna have our challenge. I mean, the goal is, as a parent raising children, you show them all the other options and things that they can do with their life. And if you show them some really better options, research shows they just won't choose drugs. When they've been afforded all these better options, better opportunities, better things to get themselves into, drugs won't be as appealing. They tend to do drugs and do alcohol because they've not been really shown anything better. They've not been taken around. They've not gone to different states, been exposed to books, libraries, all those kind of things to really see, hey, there's a bigger world than using drugs, than smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana. And if you do those kind of things, then you won't even really have the challenge of the young person later on becoming connected to alcohol, marijuana, or drinking, okay? If you do those things for your young person. And so I'm kind of really out of anything else I want to say about it. I see a couple folks that's checking out the video. If you want to chime in there, it's all good. So yeah, so I'm getting ready for a talk on Monday on opioids. Going to talk about opioids at a local place in Baltimore. I'm really excited about it. This is not a video on opioids, but I'm just giving you some heads up. And then I'm going to be doing opioids again at 911 Broadway, the third Saturday of this month from 1 to 2. And that's open to the public to come on out. That's 911 North Broadway. It's a Johns Hopkins facility. And we're going to have a great talk there. And that's the third Saturday of this month. I don't have my calendar to pull up that date, but the third Saturday from 1 to 2. I want to thank you for checking out the video. That's all I really had to say. Those are my thoughts about marijuana. And thank you.